Hello, hello. So in this video, we are going to talk about 8 signs that someone has a fearful avoidant attachment style. So I'm going to break down some common signs of fearful avoidant attachment, and I'll also talk about what you can do if you have fearful avoidant attachment tendencies. So for those of you who don't know, attachment theory breaks down the different ways that we relate to and behave in relationships into 4 categories: anxious, avoidant, secure, and fearful avoidant, also known as disorganized attachment. So we can be a mix of attachment styles, but generally we have one that is more dominant than the others. So you could be mostly secure but lean anxious, or mostly anxious but a little secure, or mostly secure but lean fearful avoidant, etc. Sometimes it's depending on the situation or the other person, and sometimes it doesn't matter. We just have that overwhelmingly as our main attachment style. So fearful avoidant attachment isn't talked about as much as anxious or avoidant attachment. It's a bit less common and a bit less understood. So let's get into the 8 common signs of a fearful avoidant attachment style. So number 1, you have an internal pattern of conflict around relationship, both wanting a relationship with someone and then once they come towards you, wanting to push them and the relationship away. So you may be very into someone at the beginning, but as you get closer, you start to internally freak out and you begin to want to pull away and to create distance. So you're likely kind of ping-ponging between a conflicting desire for closeness and a desire to push closeness away. So this tends to make dating very confusing because you can't tell if it's them or if it's you that is the problem. And the closer that someone gets, the more you tend to want to push them away. And then when someone pulls away, you suddenly want them close again. So you've got that internal push-pull towards relationship. That's number 1. Number 2, you have issues with trusting people. If you're a woman and you date men, then especially men. If you're a man, it would be women. So this is one of the main reasons you both want closeness and want to push it away. So you'll tend to keep people at arm's distance. You'll overanalyze everything because of this lack of trust, both for yourself and for the people you're dating. So this gets you kind of stuck in your head, overanalyzing and overthinking, trying to figure out, like, can I trust this person? Can I not? But because you're in your head, it's really hard to know. You're just kind of like stuck in this loop. And so this means that you're really unable to relax and let go because you're being run by these trust wounds. So number 2 is that you have issues with trusting people. I work with women, so we're talking about women, especially men. Number 3, everything feels like a red flag. So you can't tell what is a real concern and what isn't. This is kind of similar to number 2 because you have these trust issues. So you get triggered pretty easily because of this unhealed past trauma where trust was broken and you were hurt. It's made you hypervigilant, which is why you see so many potential red flags. But the issue is that you can't tell what is a true red flag and what is your wounds just trying to protect you. So again, this puts you kind of in your head, not really sure what's true and what's not. Number 4, you are super picky. So because you both want intimacy and you fear it, then you are subconsciously looking for things that are wrong with people you are meeting or dating. So you are likely to come up with reasons to reject someone that you are likely to convince yourself are totally valid, but which are actually not real reasons to. They are just your fear of intimacy manifesting itself and trying to protect you. Number 5, you go after unavailable people or people you don't really like. And this is because there will be less on the line. So you choose relationships where you feel that you have the upper hand, they want you more than you want them, and then you kind of hold them at arm's distance because this feels safer. You get to feel in control since you care less. But ultimately, these relationships are not fulfilling and they tend to end pretty messily with some real hurt going on. Or you will go for the guy who is emotionally unavailable because you'd subconsciously rather long for love and closeness than actually have to have it because of your fear of intimacy, that fear of closeness being something that would hurt you. So when you get close to someone, all your fears around trust and safety and security in love come to the surface. And so it's easier to want and long for and chase those unavailable people. So number 5 is that you go after unavailable people or people you don't really like. Number 6, you engage in testing behaviors. So because you are afraid that the person you're dating or your partner will hurt you or lacks sincerity, you will try out negative or challenging behaviors to test them, to see if they will be there for you or if they will leave you or hurt you. So you're going to be testing specifically around whatever your wound is to see if they'll do that thing that you're afraid they'll do. This tends to create a lot of drama and conflict that unfortunately usually ends in a relationship kind of getting broken up or a dating situation not getting off the ground. Number 7, you expect to be hurt, so you are always on guard. So you may seem picky, you may seem mean, you may seem guarded, but it all stems from a fear that you will be hurt and therefore that you need to protect yourself. So because of this expectation, you are finding red flags or signs that they will hurt you or problems with them that don't exist or ending things preemptively because you are rejecting them before they can reject you because you have this fear that you will be hurt. Number 8, you sabotage your relationships. And this is really a cumulative effect of all of the other signs that we've talked about. So you're likely to cut things off too soon or too reactionarily. You are likely to find problems where there aren't problems. It's just easier to sabotage the relationship and make it end or sabotage the dating that could have moved forward than to stay in it while living in a state of inner turmoil and confusion as to whether you're making a mistake, whether you're going to be hurt or not. And you might feel relieved in the short term, but over the long term, it means that you keep ending up alone and you may have rejected another quality person and later regret it. So that's kind of fearful avoidance, some of the main signs in a nutshell. So what is fearful avoidant attachment? Fearful avoidant attachment, as you might have picked up, is based around an inner desire for love and closeness, a deep inner desire for love and closeness, actually. But with that desire, there's another part of you that also has a lot of fear of it. So this creates this internal push-pull in relationships and dating where you both want someone, you both want intimacy, and then when someone gets too close, you freak out and push them away. So what causes fearful avoidant attachment? And to start, like I leaned heavily fearful avoidant attachment at a certain point in my life after some traumatic experiences in relationship. So typically, fearful avoidant attachment develops either from a traumatic relationship or a series of traumatic relationships, or because in childhood, love was associated with pain and chaos. So there could have been abuse, there could have been a lot of fighting or violence, a lot of instability, etc. So whatever the reason, it's because at some point, love became associated for you with hurt and with pain and with betrayal. So this is for you happening at a subconscious level in your nervous system. So of course, you are fearful and avoidant of it. Because love is something a fearful avoidant actually considers dangerous at a subconscious nervous system level. We're living in this survival mode. We're hyper alert. We're hyper vigilant. We are afraid of being hurt, right? So every person that we date is a potential threat subconsciously to us. In our fear system, especially the closer that they get to us. So as a result, fearful avoidants tend to send these mixed signals, going hot and cold, chasing and then running away. And as adults, they tend to have a series of broken or drama-filled relationships or no relationships at all. And so this is why we see, fearful avoidant ending a budding relationship suddenly, or suddenly feeling suffocated, or feeling the need to create distance when someone gets closer, even if in the beginning they really wanted that person, pursued that person, even idolized that person, that changes. So this can be very internally confusing to a fearful avoidant. To try to navigate what is what and can I trust myself or can I not? Because there is that feeling of like, I can't trust myself. So you do need some deep healing work around these traumatic experiences that created these wounds and the beliefs that you are carrying, which are creating this turmoil and this chaos and confusion. So we'll talk about what that entails in just a minute. But before we get into just how to heal the fearful avoidant attachment style, I do want to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I'm Elizabeth. I'm a dating coach for high achieving women. I focus on helping my clients build self-worth, self-love, and heal wounds and attachment traumas, while also helping them understand men, giving them a clear-cut process to navigate dating in a secure way from their feminine, so they can attract, choose, and be properly pursued by, and then in an incredible relationship with, the right man for them as quickly as possible. So everything that I teach and coach on comes first from my own struggle with dating and relationships, because for most of my life, it wasn't easy at all. I, in the beginning leaned anxious attachment, and then over time kind of moved towards fearful avoidant. And I was always falling for unavailable men who didn't want to commit to me, and pursued by men I wasn't too excited about, or I was choosing men who felt safe, but then who I would keep at arm's distance so I could feel in control. In my early 20s, I was in an on and off, drama-filled, pretty toxic kind of situation, actually relationship. And after that relationship ended, it left me with a strong fearful avoidant attachment style, because I was so afraid of getting into something like that again. I was afraid of and mistrusting of men. I was afraid of being controlled the way I felt I had been before. I was afraid of being hurt. So I had, previous to that, anxious attachment tendencies where I felt like I had to be perfect. I had to be liked and to be chosen by a guy. I was afraid to be vulnerable or intimate or show too much after that, because then, someone could hurt you. And so it was after that I got my heart broken with another unavailable man who wasn't truly available for a relationship with me, that I started to realize, that's interesting. Okay, so there's something I need to figure out here about why love isn't working for me. There's this pattern that I'm seeing replaying, and I didn't want to go through that again. So I realized that in all my struggles and experiences with dating and men, there was one thing in common, and that was me, that I was the common denominator. And so I realized that actually I was also emotionally unavailable, but didn't realize it. So I did the healing work. I uncovered wounds and beliefs that I didn't know were there, that were driving my love life. And I uncovered my love blueprint. A love blueprint is somewhat based on our attachment styles. It's our blueprint for relationships and love, who we think we have to be to get love, and what we should look for, what we think we should look for. So that comes from our childhood experiences with love. So I saw that mine was working against me and sabotaging me in my love life. And so as I healed and addressed my internal stuff, how I was choosing men changed, how I was showing up in dating changed, my beliefs about myself changed, and my wounds stopped bleeding. And I finally turned it around and met my husband. So I get fearful avoidant attachment. I really do. But let's talk about what you need to know about healing a fearful avoidant attachment style. So shifting this attachment style requires inner healing and belief reprogramming work. So number one is gaining self-awareness of what's going on inside of you. What are your triggers and what is behind those triggers? Addressing them with inner healing work so they stop constantly coming up. Number two is doing healing and subconscious reprogramming work around your triggers, your negative beliefs, your fears, and your core wounds that are driving your love life. So what happens when we do that is we start to build an internal sense of safety and self-trust and self-worth. And this is really going to be a result of the transformational healing work. So as we heal past traumas and experiences that created our fearful avoidant attachment, not only will we need to heal the past, but we will also need to work on our love blueprint and developing a new set of ways of being and beliefs that are healthy and grounded in reality and are going to get us what we want. When we have a fearful avoidant attachment style, our emotions will not be a good barometer of what's really going on, nor will the interpretations we jump to about what things mean. So being able to tell what's true from what's just your mind making up stories is going to be huge. And typically that requires someone else on the outside looking in to help us see our blind spots. So with the deeper healing work, our true selves, the ones that we really are and were before the wounding and all the protective mechanisms came in because of what happened, those true selves, our whole selves will be able to come out and be the part of us that is making our decisions. So by reconnecting with yourself, with your own sense of safety, you'll be able to start to get clear on what you really want and need. You'll be able to actually open your heart and take down your walls to let someone in, that right someone in. And you will naturally be able to be in that authentic feminine energy with men, where you're not in your head, where you're not overworking, where you're not in your false masculine trying to protect yourself. It's so important in this process, having someone who can guide you through the steps, through the process, and who can hold up a mirror for you and show you your blind spots and help you navigate and learn to trust yourself and make better decisions. It's really hard to do this on our own. You can if you want, but it takes a lot to get there. So having a coach who helps you see how your patterns are playing out and teaches you how to approach things differently, so you can let that right someone in, is so invaluable. And with that, I want to let you know that my mastermind, the High Value Woman, which is a 5-month intimate group coaching program for high achieving women who have everything going for them in life, except that they are struggling to find that right healthy relationship. It is open for enrollment. So this mastermind is everything I developed and saw that my one-on-one clients needed and got them from A to B. It's designed to help you with the deep inner work and provide the practical outer guidance you need to address the root causes of your negative patterns, raise self-worth, find security and love within, learn how to navigate dating in a healthy, secure way so you can find and keep your right man and finally be in that secure, committed relationship that can last. So you can skip the struggle and get there faster. So learning a solid framework for addressing and rewiring what's causing your repeated patterns with men, and then addressing the deep stuff behind those patterns. And then on top of that, learning how to date and choose effectively so you stop repeating the same cycles. This is all within a safe, very intimate container of women who are also going through the same things you are, who you will be able to lean on each other and support each other and celebrate each other and see yourselves in each other. So this is 5 months of live support. So there are 3 times a month group coaching calls. There's a private Facebook group for support outside our calls. And then in addition to that, you're getting an online portion where you're getting 8 online modules to help you step by step through the process of doing the inner work, giving you the tools, the practices, and the framework that will actually result in transformation. We are not about just giving you more information. And then getting practical guidance on dating effectively in the modern world we live in to find a high quality masculine man. So how to get out of your masculine while dating so you can be pursued, how to handle things like communication, conflict, and boundaries. Understanding men and how they're approaching dating, how they're kind of navigating and seeing things, what they need, and how they're different than women. And then how to identify a quality, mature, commitment-ready man. And really, most importantly, helping you change how you see yourself. So you see yourself as a high-value woman, and you stop settling for less and get treated as well as you deserve. So for meeting their dream men, for my clients, it's generally 2 to 3 months that they get into committed relationships with them. And, I want that for you too. So the link for more information to apply is below if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Instagram, then click the link in my bio to learn more and to apply. And I hope to see you inside. Much love and see you next time.